Hey guys, welcome back. This is our next vlog, and this is gonna be more about ovulation, post ovulation, sorry. Thank you for all the love and support that you guys showed for my previous video. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna keep sending out more content, educational, fun. We have an upcoming trip, to Chicago, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, guys, please do like, share, and subscribe. Right now in this video, I'm going to talk about days past ovulation. So in the previous video, I told you how I figured out every month when my ovulatory dates were. So it was close to like 14 to 16 day of my entire cycle. Once I realized we did our deed, and then, after that, I started calculating my days past ovulation. So in the cycle that I conceived, I ovulated on the 16th day. Usually it's divided into three categories: 1 to 6 days past ovulation, 7 to 11 days past ovulation, and 12 to 16 days past ovulation. So basically why we need this days past ovulation is to track our fertilization and implantation process. I'm going to talk about each week, each day's like what happened to me and how I saw the progression. Yeah, guys, this is what we call as, days past ovulation. So it's called DPO, and tracking that would kind of give you an idea if you're pregnant that cycle or not. Your days past ovulation depends on two hormones, guys. So your first half, probably up until 12 DPO, it's going to be your progesterone, and after implantation has happened, your HCG comes into play. So it's really important to regulate these two hormones. So a lot of times, we do realize we have we have fertilized, but there's a problem with implantation, or a lot of time infertility happens even if you had like a ovulatory cycle. You probably didn't get pregnant that cycle. It could be one of the reasons, guys. There's a lot of reasons actually. One of the reasons could be progesterone, so low levels of progesterone. So as the days, as I talk about the DPOs, I'm gonna keep talking to you about these two hormones and how every DPO they start varying. As I mentioned, the first 6 days, like post, not post, it's either post or past. So past ovulation, not much actually happens. Basically your egg just gets fertilized in the fallopian tube, and in the first 6 days, that's exactly what happens. So it's really important to plan your deeds around the ovulation, like 5 days prior to ovulation or 1 day after the ovulatory day that you have got in that cycle. So the reason why we talk about just 5 days prior is because sperms can stay much longer. Eggs can just stay like for 24 hours. So, once the egg is released, only it has 24 hours to like fertilize, but sperms can stay for a longer time. So, it's just ideal for you to have sex before, 2 or 3, ideally 5 days, but 2 or 3 days before or 1 day after. So that's why ovulation is so important. So now coming to 1 to 6 DPO, I personally had this weird symptom of feeling fatigued. I really couldn't differentiate between a period fatigueness or it's a fertilization. So in the first 6 days of your symptoms, guys, first 6 days post ovulation, you really cannot make out if it's like something related to your periods or to your fertilization. So don't really give too much thought into it. So I personally had just one distinctive symptoms compared to my periods. That was like I was extremely tired. Like I would go to gym and come back and I had to sleep for an hour, and it has never happened to me while I'm on my periods. But I did have mild cramping. I was moody, but these symptoms were also common. A few days post my like once my a few days prior to my period. So I couldn't differentiate between those symptoms, but the fatigue was really prominent. But I didn't give too much thought into it because I was like going to gym, so I really didn't know if it was because of gym or because I was getting fertilized. So that was the only one tell sign, I would say, in the first 6 days of my cycle post ovulation. So apart from that, right now your progesterone in the body would be building up. So a lot of doctors, again, it does need your gynec supervision, but a lot of doctors do prescribe like progesterone supplements just to help your fertilization process. So the next days, that's ideally from 7 to 11 days past ovulation. That's when your implantation happens. So the fertilized egg moves from the fallopian tube into your uterus and it gets implanted. So a lot of women, talk about implantation bleed, implantation pain. Personally, I did not have any of these. So don't give too much thought into it if you guys did not have this implantation bleed. It's said that according to statistics, only like 25% women do experience this, bleed or pain. So, but there was one characteristic sharp shooting pain I had probably around like day 9 or 10, I would say. And I just thought, it could be probably because of gym or something else. I would have just caught up a muscle, but I really didn't think it was implantation. But now looking back at it, I think it was an implantation pain, because it was extremely sharp and it was right on my lower abdomen. So I did experience implantation pain. The other symptoms that you could experience at this point would be like a bleeding, like headaches, moodiness, and a bit of nausea. But at this point they correlate so much, like towards like you having your PMS. So you really cannot differentiate between a PMS and like your implantation symptoms at this point. But the only thing that differentiated me and with my symptoms was that sharp shooting pain. So I think when I look back now, I probably implanted around like 10 DPO. And I think why I'm so confident about it is because probably around like 12 DPO, I started having, showing those faint lines on the pregnancy test. So up until now, guys, up until the implantation, progesterone is so important. It's like the most important hormone in your body right now. So a lot of times, women who have early miscarriages could have, low progesterone. So in such women, the gynecs do prescribe you, progesterone supplements. So, a lot of, it varies from country to country, but what I've spoken to a lot of gynecs, they said they would supplement women with progesterone just in case, just to make it more viable implantation. So that's another thing, guys. Like if you're having early miscarriages, go please check your progesterone levels. They are the main reason why you're ovulating but you're not implanting. So up until implantation, progesterone is important, but once your HCG takes over, your progesterone gives its duty to the HCGs, and the HCGs take over and they take care of the pregnancy. And so, coming to the last phase where you actually figure out you're pregnant, are the days when it's around like 12 to 16 DPOs. So, I think for me personally, I started seeing a faint line around like 11 DPO, guys. So, basically, 15 days, they would say 15 days post ovulation, you would get to know, because one is like you probably would have skipped periods by now, and two is like it's enough time for implantation fertilizations to happen. So ideally people say you're supposed to test 1 to 2 days after your missed periods, but me being me, I couldn't like wait to see if I was pregnant or not. So I was constantly testing after like my ninth DPO. So I'm gonna put down those photos for you to show like how my progression of the lines did happen. So I think around 10 DPO, I did see a faint line, like really, really faint line, but I wanted to be sure, so I did not take too much into it. And then on the 11th, 12th, I started seeing them to get darker. And by 15th, guys, I had like a solid pink line, and it was much pinker compared to, the control line. So I'm going to talk about the pregnancy test eventually, but around 7 to 16 DPOs, around 11 to 16 DPOs, guys, you might experience symptoms like headache, nausea, cramping, and all those symptoms. Again, they correlate to PMS, but two symptoms which were distinctive for me was a metallic taste. Like, it's so characteristic, guys. Like, I would run to the bathroom to clean my tongue and use a scraper, but still the taste would not go. And no food actually could make me feel better. The only food that actually made me feel better was tanginess, like tamarind and something which is very tangy. So I started eating something very sour and tangy. So I think that was the only taste that my taste buds could feel. The metallic taste is so distinctive, and the fatigue, guys, I'm not gonna lie. In my entire life, I've never felt so exhausted. So they were the two tell signs for me when it came to me knowing if I was pregnant or not, because they were very characteristic. So the other symptom was I would go to urinate a lot, guys. So I really thought I was diabetic because I was urinating, I was getting up so much, and all that stuff was happening. So coming to the pregnancy test, so there were 3 companies that I used, guys. One was Easy at Home, First Response, and Clear Blue. So Easy at Home came along with the ovulation strips, so I had them prior. So I started testing with Easy at Home. When I compared Easy at Home, First Response, and Clear Blue, I found First Response to be the most accurate, because I started seeing faint lines in First Response much earlier compared to Easy at Home. So my biggest I would recommend you guys to actually check with the First Response company pregnancy test, because it's not sponsored, guys. So just keep in mind, it's not sponsored, but this is my experience. Clear Blue Digital doesn't actually show up until you have a solid you have missed your periods and it's 1 day prior to your periods. So up until then you cannot do the digital test. It's gonna keep coming negative. But First Response, I think somewhere around 11 DPO, I had my faint line. So Easy at Home is really cheap. It's affordable. I would say First Response detected if I was pregnant around 11 DPO, but Easy at Home detected if I was pregnant. I was pregnant around I would say 13 to 14 DPO. So my earliest detection was First Response. So I'm gonna link down all the photos for you guys. So if you see my first response, the test that I've done, it was beautiful. Like, I could see the faint line and it just progressed. And Easy at Home, it was really difficult. And the only problem I was having with Easy at Home kit was, my line, the line was not getting more darker than the control line. So I was really freaking out if this could be leading to an early miscarriage, because the darker your line gets, your pregnancy is like progressing well. So in the first response, I was having amazing results, like they were darkening. But at Easy at Response, I'm going to put the photos down for you guys to compare. So if I personally would pick, I would pick Easy at Response pregnancy detection first, and then probably like 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 days post or pre your periods, you can use Clearblue Digital. So Clearblue was my confirmation. I'm gonna link a photo of my confirmation. It was the best experience. So I think Clearblue is ideal if you guys like did it after you missed a day or so of your periods. So yeah, guys, that was all about it. How how I figured out I was pregnant, the pregnancy kits that I took, yeah, please do like, share, and subscribe. We would love to have any opinions or questions you have. Please put them down in the comment section. And yeah, guys, thank you for all the love that you share. The next video is gonna be more about my journey into the first trimester and what symptoms I had and what I did to combat them. So thank you for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.